All right, welcome back. Now, it's a concept that originated in South Asia. Members gather each month and literally put their money on the table, which then becomes immediately available to them as loans. Now, we know here in Kenya, table banking is the name. It's a practice that became popular because it eliminates the bank fees, the waiting periods for loan approval, and many other obstacles faced by women in rural settings who need loans but lack collateral. Well, Joyful Women, that is the flagship program of First Lady Rachel Ruto's Mama Doing Good organization, is probably one of the most recognized table banking initiatives in Kenya. Well, next week it marks 14 years of the program that started with 60 women back in 2009 to a membership network of over 180,000. Now, to talk to us about the journey so far are Edward Ngaira, Head of Department, Mercy Works and Faith Diplomacy at Mama Doing Good. We also have Stella Chepngeno, the Director for Women Economic Empowerment, also at the Mama Doing Good organization, and Joycelyn Mwikali, Director Corporate Services at Mama Doing Good. Thank you all for coming in. Let me begin with the gentlemen.
Yes.
Though they say ladies first, but we'll start with Edward. Just for you to take us through what the organization Mama Doing Good is all about and the relation to the First Lady.
Yes, this is really expression of the heart of the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, because her vision, having started with Joyful Women, has now grown into three particular directorates, namely the Women Economic Empowerment,
right,
which is ably represented here by my sister Stella. And then we have Environment and Climate Action. And that has a lot that is going on, including the commitment of the president of 15 billion trees. We have a part that we want to play on that one from the Office of the First Lady, 500 million trees. That is our commitment on our side. And then we have the Faith Diplomacy as a directorate, where I work, and it has many components, including what you mentioned as you introduced me as Faith Diplomacy has got Mercy Works within Faith Diplomacy, just reaching out with compassion to the people that are in situations of need in our country. So this is the heart of our First Lady, and in the center of all these directorates is the concern for the family, and especially the woman, and her life being economically empowered. And so all the activities that we do in the Office of the First Lady and Mama Doing Good are centered around improving the life and livelihood of the woman, and therefore affecting the children, the husband, and the entire family, and beginning from that family unit, moving on to affect the entire nation, a little bit at a time.
It certainly has that ripple effect once you empower the woman in the community. But let me come to you, Stella, the name. Joyful Women, why that particular name, and what kind of started this whole table banking process?
Thank you so much. Let me say this. The name started, was picked because of a woman that the First Lady met in 1997. And they were a group of women who had come to listen to her. She helped His Excellency to campaign then when he wanted to be an MP. And she saw this woman with a broad smile, but had no shoes. And that is where the journey started. It made her have compassion. So all we do is about compassion. So the name came out of that woman. So when the journey took 12 years to be able to come up with a solution, and I think you have explained very well where table banking has come from. And after that, when now we started where the table banking and took the concept out there, the best thing to do was to reward that woman and give out the name Joyful Woman.
So how much has been, loaned out, if you will, to members so far?
Let me say this. The table banking concept is the women loan out their own money to themselves. So for us, we offer the technical expertise. We support them with capacity building. We support them to connect to the markets. We support them with trainings, a lot of trainings, teaching them on livelihood activities. And therefore, they just use their own money and money from other institutions that lend to groups to be able now to expand their tables and be able to build up their tables. And when we are able to, we do the top-ups on the table so that they have enough money to run, because usually the money that is on the table is not sufficient. And therefore, that's what we are able to do them. So we offer the technical expertise, support these women, work with them the journey, and to see their success.
So when you talk about how much, because I know Kenyans have that on their mind in terms of a question, what is in that revolving fund?
The women are currently revolving 2.9 billion Kenya shillings. Across, we have over 180,000 women that we are working with, who are organized in over 15,000 groups, and we are in 44 out of the 47 counties, and we have staff who are on the ground who meet the women on a monthly basis. That's how our women meet. That's how our women do their business, on a monthly basis.
So, Jocelyn, someone would say, for obvious reasons, the woman, yes, should be focused on. We heard Stella talk about, and Edward talk about the ripple effect of supporting women. Why is this such a passion for the First Lady?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. And I think, like Stella said, when the First Lady met that woman who had no shoes, and the question that came in her mind was, this woman without shoes and so joyful, what is it that she has left back home? There are children, there's the husband. How then can I help this woman not only put shoes on her feet, but also provide for the family? So the passion is really to ensure that the woman who is always the center of the family is well equipped to support that family. Like most of us, even yourself, if you look at where you've come from, your background, you have a woman, and very many people, I remember a time we were asked, who is the person, who is the woman who inspires you in your life, and you'd go like your mother. And our mothers, where we come from, they really toiled to give us the best. So really the passion of the First Lady is to ensure that that woman who is able to really touch the lives of the community are able to be self-sufficient. Like my colleague has said, it's information. Even more than the money, it's information, and then it's the money, so that they're able to run the family. So the First Lady's passion is just to ensure that the woman brings in a comfortable situation in the family.
When you look at this transformation journey, give us an example of a woman who joined the organization where she is now, for instance.
All right. I'll give you an example of a lady who was selling changa den. Yeah? Then as she did, as you know, the way the changa dens go with the police, and 1 minute you're selling your changa, the next minute you're thrown out of your business, and everybody in the village did not want to associate with her or her children because of the business she does. She was really excluded. But she came in and heard about the table banking and the process of the information and what you're given when you in terms of information, and she joined a table bank. Yeah. After she joined the table bank and started transacting and doing now legal business, as it were, then she was able to even be able to lease land and plant some maize and she grew and she got tractors, and she eventually even did petrol stations. Yeah, she's a woman from Kericho. It's a story that is known, and she's really come from nothing to be able to support even her children. So yeah.
Edward, let me come to you, because one would ask, what sets Joyo apart from other initiatives? Because we've seen many campaigns when it comes to financial inclusion of women, banks, development partners, NGOs. They've all kind of come on to this new trend, if you will. So what sets Joyo apart from other initiatives?
Yeah, just picking up from what Joycelyn was saying, I was very keen to hear that, because it was also on my mind, that same woman, and I'll pick that to answer your question. That woman that Joycelyn was talking about was actually physically challenged. On both of her feet, she was crippled, a person living with a disability, and she had lost her marriage. But at the time that we came to find out about that story, that lady already had not only tractors and these parcels of land, and her life had really improved. She also had a probox. She had a vehicle. And guess who was driving that car? The husband had come back. So it had an impact on her family, even her marriage. But what sets out Joyful Women as this model that we're talking about is, let me simplify it and break it down to this simple concept that many people will understand. That a group of friends gather around a table, and because of their friendship, that is their collateral. And that friendship, they bring their money together to save. And from the savings they put on that table, they borrow from that amount of money they've put there, invest in their little businesses, and come and repay with interest. So what happens here is that the table around, the women around the table own the bank. They're the owners of the bank. They are the directors. They are the shareholders. They are the customers of the same bank. And that is the uniqueness of this model. It's not a merry-go-round. It is unique that everybody can borrow at the same time and invest. And there are several other loans that are in there. Yeah. So the other thing, Victoria, is that imagine many of these groups have come and gone, but this one has had the resilience of being present here in Kenya for 14 years. And that's what we're celebrating. Many start. Yeah. And they fall off the way. And this is the uniqueness of this model, that it has got an ability to sustain itself because it's owned by the people. They can see the progress themselves and the impact it has on their lives. I appreciate the others, but this one I can say has stood the test of time.
I mean, this may seem like a silly question, but men feel the boy child has been left behind. It's called Joyful Women, but can men also join in?
Let me just announce to the public in Kenya that I'm part of Joyful Women. And during the time that Mwikali and I worked directly in the leadership of Joyful Women, her leadership and the others who were there, the likes of great people like Librata Mohati, allowed us, men, to join, to form a group that was Joyful Women, but it has got men in it. So the bylaws of the organization allows up to 30% men. The only thing that they do not allow us to do is to hold positions as chair, as secretary, as treasurer, so we can participate, but we're not office bearers.
Okay.
And that is good for us.
Okay. Stella, let me come to you, because as Edward mentioned, 14 years to be celebrated next week. What are some of the key milestones when you look through that journey?
Wow. There's quite a lot to talk about. And let me say that one of the milestones is that we have seen women, like my colleagues have said, who have come out from nothing, completely nothing, didn't know that they are capable of saving. They didn't know they were capable of even doing a business. So those are some of the little milestones that we are celebrating, that a woman didn't know that she could save 200 shillings to make it 1,000, to make it 20,000. A woman who didn't know that she could be able to support her husband, pay the bills. And I know one person who keeps saying that in a certain culture where the woman will allow the man to go ahead and then call and say, bring us the sugar, bring us the... So you're saying that because of this transformation, now the women don't call you back to ask you for the sugar, to ask you for this. So that's one of the milestones, that the dependency syndrome is no longer there. The women now can be able to depend on themselves, and at the same time, these women are able to support their husbands. Number two, we have seen women own property through this program. We have seen women buy land, and as you know that women are allowed to own land in Kenya. But if you see the percentage, it's around 7% of the women who own land. But now through this project, we have seen quite a number of women owning land, either as a group or as individuals, and then those who have also developed the land. The third thing that we have seen as a milestone is to be able to see even the growth in terms of leadership. Women have gotten into the space of leadership. A woman who was shy came to the group, was chosen to be a leader, and before you know it, they are out there and they are vying for positions, and they are getting into leadership. The woman now has a voice in the society. When you have money in the pocket, that you have a voice. And so that tent that they usually put there for the VIPs and the VVIPs in the village, they also sit there. They are no longer now in the kitchen. They have a space at that space. So that is what we are coming to celebrate. To celebrate women who have seen their children. They didn't know if their children would go through school. Single women who have seen their children go through school. Through that process, having to save, ensure that the children has gone to school. And many other things that the women themselves can be able to talk and say, this is what has helped. But for us, that's what we've been able to see, a woman who has confidence, who has money in the pocket, supporting the family and supporting the society.
So what's the process of joining, if someone is interested?
Process of joining.
Yes,
let me recruit. Yes, the process of joining is, if you are a group, you get affiliated with us. once you get affiliated with us, of course, through training, explaining to you how our table banking works. From there, you get affiliated with us. We attach you a mwalimu. He's called the Economic Empowerment Officer. We call the mwalimu on the ground. So the mwalimu now takes care of that group as long as it is with us. That is a group that is already organized, maybe registered even with the social services. But if you are not, you don't have a group, then we ask you to go and form a group. And then once you have formed the group, we take you through the process. We explain to you how our table banking works. Once you agree, you get affiliated to the organization. And then again, we attach you with a mwalimu who comes to visit you every month to ensure that you are doing the table banking in the right way. Yes, and so that's how you are able to get affiliated. And we are in 44 counties, and in those 44 counties, we have contact people. And I think we can be able to, wherever we are, they can get in touch with us and be able to direct them to the teachers. And we are on the grassroots level. At the same time, in the city, we are in the informal settlements, and we are able to reach out to each and every woman that needs to reach out to us. So table banking is for everyone.
Okay, Joycelyn, let me bring you in here because Edward talked about just generally what Mama Doing Good does, the different arms. And it sounds a lot of the programs align with the government plans already in place, complementing what the government is doing. So someone would ask, is it government funded, what the First Lady is doing, or is it something else that at least complements what the government has put in place?
All right, thank you very much. The program is not government funded. We do fundraising and donations like any other non-profit organization. Like Edward has said, the three pillars of the First Lady, that is women economic empowerment, environment, climate action, and faith diplomacy, they need a structure that will be able to do the delivery of the pillars. So that's how now Mama Doing Good comes as an organization to be able to help deliver the three pillars. So the organization, I can tell you, Victoria, we are, like Stella said, we're in the 44 counties out of 47, and we have over 500 staff in Mama Doing Good who support in delivery of the pillars. Yes.
Okay, because we saw the First Lady earlier this month, I believe, launching mobile clinics. It's not a new initiative. We saw that from her predecessor before, but how different will this be from what we saw a few years back?
I think with Mama Doing Good, women economic empowerment or women empowerment is really very inclusive. Yeah. We will not look at only the financial inclusion part of it, but for you to be empowered, you have to be healthy. We find that even women, when they have money and they go and somebody gets sick in the family, all the efforts they have put on the table then become watered away by that. So as we empower them, besides entrepreneurial skills, we also bring in the health fact so that we are able to integrate an all-inclusive empowerment package.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, this aligning with the UHC program by the government as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you all for coming in. That's all the time we have. But of course, we'll be looking forward to the celebrations next week in Kasarani on the 14th. No, not the 14th.
Yes, no,
on the 23rd.
23rd of November.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's take a short break here on Citizen Weekend. Much more ahead. Stay with us.